Hello and salutations, fellow Holy Knights. It is time for the post-game show for chapter 1134. The chapter dropped. We're here to read through the comment section of the full spoiler video just to see what the hot topics are. Is it the Holy Knights? Is it Kuma? Is it Vegapunk? I want to see what the hell we're theorizing about today. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Okay, you guys know how this goes down. We start with the top comment and then just work our way down from there. And then once we hit comments that kind of start getting a little bit redundant, we will cut it off. Mihawk, when he sees Shanks. Oh, Shanks, that's a good one. Shanks, Shiv, Stab, Fank. Like, I love all these crazy nicknames we're giving him, right? I feel like Oda needs to settle this right away. Like, next chapter, this guy's name reveal has to be the first thing, because I just imagine that the Japanese fan base and just fan bases around the world for One Piece are going crazy with all these nicknames. So Mihawk says, I can fight a Shanks with 2 arms again? Let's go. It's time to duel. Yo, that's kind of how I see it, right? Now that we have this fake Shanks here, I'm like, dude, who can fight this guy, right? Luffy could fight him and prove that he can surpass Shanks, right? That would be huge. And then we could also have Mihawk, right? Mihawk doesn't have any tangible feats, is what I want to say, right? We had Marineford Mihawk, but he didn't beat anybody there. I would almost argue that he came out of Marineford looking worse, because now we just have the Vista memes, right? Oh, Mihawk, oh, he needs an opponent, give him Vista. Mihawk can't fight Jozu, Jozu's his counter, right? So I do think that Mihawk needs something under his belt, or someone under his belt other than Perona. So give Mihawk either Fujitora, give him Shanks, give him somebody else to fight before he fights Zoro. Because when Zoro fights Mihawk, Zoro's gonna win. Zoro's gonna achieve his dream. He's gonna become the world's greatest swordsman. But before that happens, I do think that Mihawk needs a W, right? We can't just go off of legacy feats like, oh, he clashed with Shanks a long time ago. No, dude. I think this is the perfect time for Mihawk to shine. But if we give this to Mihawk, then of course we're taking away a Shanks matchup. Shanks versus Shanks, that could go pretty hard. We're taking away a potential Luffy matchup. I saw people saying that Zoro should fight this guy because he has a sword. I don't know how I feel about that yet, because I feel like this guy is like the leader of the Holy Knights, and typically Luffy fights the leader, but every now and then things do get thrown for a loop, so who knows? But either way, I do see this guy as a perfect Mihawk duel. So now, going on to the next comment, what do we got? Crazy intro. Oh yeah, I said I was oiled up. I mean, that's a thing, right? Wintertime, chapped skin, chapped lips, it happens, man. I think that we all need to stay lubricated this holiday season, especially with these chapters. God damn. Ripley? Oh my god. So this one says, Loki, being a good guy doesn't surprise me. Luffy tends to be a good judge of character. And I agree. Luffy making that promise to Loki, telling him that he would, save him or release him from his cuffs. Well, we don't know the exact promise, but we're assuming that's what it is, right? Loki wanted to be freed. Luffy made a promise. We don't have to be a rocket scientist to kind of assume what their deal entailed. But yeah, Luffy is a good judge of character, or at least if he does make a deal with the bad guy, it's a bad guy that Luffy knows that he can defeat, right? Like Caribou is a great example, because back in Wano, Luffy promised Caribou that he would take him off of Wano, that he would help him to an extent. Yeah, Caribou's still a bad guy, and Caribou betrayed Luffy like right away, but here's the thing. All the Straw Hats can beat Caribou. Caribou is not a threat. So when it comes to Loki, it was either one of two camps. Either one, Luffy was confident that he could beat Loki, or two, Loki is just a good guy and Luffy could sniff it out right away. Or there's a hidden third option there where Loki is a bad guy, but Luffy just really wants to know about Shanks. So yeah, I love this. I love Loki being a good guy, but also based off of this chapter, he doesn't seem to be a 100% good guy. He's kind of like an anti-hero in a way, right? Because Loki says that if he was in Moses' position, he would slaughter everyone during whatever traumatic event took place. So yeah, Loki's kind of meandering in the middle there, right? He's tiptoeing. He's a good guy, but also he is very murderous. And even when Mosa calls him kind, while that may be true, Loki doesn't like to hear that. He's kind of like a tsundere in that sense. But also, I bet there's a reason why he doesn't like being called kind. I kind of assume that somebody took advantage of his kindness, or maybe he was kind to others, but nobody was kind to him, right? Because all the giants of Elbaph teamed up against him. Hell, if everybody in my apartment complex teamed up against me, I'd be pretty pissed. There'd be no room for kindness anymore, in my opinion. But yeah, on to the next comment though. What do they say? Your Loki theory also makes sense as to why Loki would dislike Shanks. Maybe he met Stabs and correlated it to the actual Shanks Stella body. That could be it. The Shanks clone could be calling himself Shanks on the side, and there's a lot of people who could have really warped perceptions of Shanks because of this guy, right? Maybe Loki did see a coward in Shanks, and it's actually just Stabs. I could totally see that being the case, but also, now that I think about it, I do wonder how much Loki actually knows. Like, if he does know about Stabs or Shanks here, then when Luffy gets information about Shanks from him, maybe Loki feeds him all the bad information, like, oh yeah, Stabs? Oh god, he has like magic circles. He's a coward. He doesn't want to fight. He has 2 arms, by the way. And then Luffy's like, wait. Magic circles, 2 arms, no scar. Who the hell are we talking about here, right? I could see that being the case, and that would be pretty fun. That'd be a great way to get information about Stabs without actually meeting Stabs firsthand. Bro is lubed up and ready for some theories, and I'm all for it. Who isn't lubed up, brother? Who isn't lubed up for a Holy Knight chapter? My god, there's no better time to lube up than this. I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again, but when it comes to villain organizations in anime, not just One Piece, but in any anime, that has always been my favorite reveal. That's always been my favorite plot. I just love seeing bad guys, right? The heroes, man, they're one thing, right? The Straw Hats, not bad. But it's the villains, in my opinion, that make the series, right? If you have a good character as a main character, yeah, sure, they're always gonna win, they're great, you know, they're built up for success, but it's the villains that are impressive. Because characters like Stabs and Shanks, they have to make a lasting impression before they eventually lose. Like, all villains are built up to lose one day, unless you're like reading some, you know, Dark Seinen or something. But yeah, that's why I like villains, you know, they were set to lose from the very beginning. So I kind of see them like a firework, right? They burn bright, burn fast, but the real question is, will you remember the fireworks by tomorrow? That's kind of how I view villains, man. Stabs, upon seeing Luffy, says, I'm gonna enjoy pretending to be evil Shanks to mess with him. Yo, that'll be so crazy, right? Like, imagine Luffy meets Stabs. Luffy gives him the straw hat because he's gullible or he believes it or whatever, which wouldn't make sense, right? He's missing the scar, missing the arm, but whatever. Imagine Luffy gives him the straw hat and Shanks just rips it in half. He's like, I hate this hat. This hat brings back awful memories. Ooh, that'd be good. That'd be some really good stuff. And also, I like imagining what it would be like if Colin, the giant kid that Shanks inspired at the bar, meets Shanks. Bro, the kid's gonna walk up saying, hey Shanks, can I join your crew? Can I join your crew? And then Stabs smacks him with the back of his hand. That'd be nuts. So now, the next comment, same guy. They say, doubling down on the Loki being a nice guy tsundere because a truly evil guy would never act this way to a response like that. Yeah, you can tell Loki has some resentment there. He has some bad memories, and I do think he was framed for murder. I don't think that Loki killed his father. Maybe that's wishful thinking though. But also, one small detail that I only noticed after reading the chapter and really looking through the details is that we get a shot of the throne room when Stabs and the female Holy Knight show up, right? You see the throne in the background, and that throne has a mark on it. It looks like somebody hit it. They cut the throne, and I'm assuming that's where King Harold was killed. But if you notice something, Loki has a hammer. Loki doesn't have a sword. Loki doesn't have an axe. He has a hammer. So if Loki did kill King Harold, something's going on here, right? Did Loki change weapons? Because it wouldn't match. You know, a hammer doesn't leave a mark like that on the throne. So I do think there's something at play here. And what I'm talking about is the last panel where you see the hoods like bent down a little bit. But yeah, look at the throne, man. The weapon does not match up. I think Loki is innocent here. This one says, I think it'd be funny to see the Holy Knights steal all the food from the banquet and Luffy goes on a big mom hunger pang chasing them down. That would be silly. So silly, in fact, that I could actually kind of see it, right? When you try to think about why the Holy Knights are here, I think there's a lot of good options, but we do know that the Holy Knights mobilize for food. Right, Dragon destroyed the food supply. The Holy Knights are going to mobilize. That's what Dragon said. So maybe that's what they're here for. I don't think so, though. Like, I feel like the food plotline should be for other Holy Knights. Right, when we're talking about Shanks or Stabs, like, this guy should be the de facto leader of the Holy Knights now that Garland got a promotion. Like, he should be that guy. You don't send your potential #1 dude on a food run. That's how I see it. But then again, it would make sense if they came here to Elbaph for food, considering everything is giant here. You know, one piece of ham, that'll feed the entire city of Marijois. But yeah, I think they have a better reasoning than just food, hopefully. But we'll see. And also, like, there's no food in the castle, so what's their plan? Like, they show up to the banquet, put food in their cloak, and then just magic circle out of there? I don't know. A little bit silly. So now, this one says, Shanks' hot sister is finally here. Tekken is the GOAT. So it could be a hot sister, right? I mean, the girl is hot, but it could also just be another Holy Knight or another family. We're not exactly too sure how Holy Knights are selected, and I think it would be really crazy if the Fagarland family were dominating the ranks of the Holy Knights. Well, then again, I guess it wouldn't be that bad. Yeah, maybe all the Holy Knights are Fagarlands. No, that's way too many kids. No. There's like 9 of those guys. All 9 are Fagarlands? Nah. I think there might be a perfect middle ground. Like maybe, yeah, this is the Shanks hot sister route, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm not exactly sold. I think we need colorings. We need the colorings before we can make that judgment, right? If they have red hair, all right, it's a big Garland. If it's any other color though, I don't know. The next comment says, Giants still waiting on that apology from the illiteracy disrespect. All I gotta say is that the Giants just recently got a school 20 years ago. Giants lived 300 years, you know. All the older Giants, they don't read, they don't write, they don't do anything. I'm not gonna apologize. I'm not gonna apologize. That's how it is. These Giants are barbarians. Only the newer generation of Giants are smart. You know, minus Saul, right? Saul, Ange, and all of them. Yeah, okay. They studied up their teachers. That's cool. But I'm telling you, man, the people at the feast right now, put a book in front of those guys. It's like putting a poneglyph in front of a penguin, right? They're gonna have no clue what the hell that is. So now, next comment. Oh, it's a super chat. Thank you, brother. This fits what I had suggested months ago, that Elbaph had Luffy's fruit. The king was protecting the Nika fruit, and the warriors had done so much since the Void Century, the world government kills him and frames Loki. Loki did not eat the fruit, but claims he did, or was accused of eating it. Maybe he had expressed that he wanted to. Maybe it is Loki who then told Shanks about the government ship that is carrying said fruit, kicking everything off. Loki wants to destroy the world government for framing him and killing his father. Maybe Loki was very much a warrior type and unusually strong one, so not this peaceful king's favorite son. And this new generation that was less warlike was quick to see him as a problem and blame him no matter what he tried to explain. There are lots of different ways the government could frame Loki and convince the Giants he was the one who did it. So I agree with this last part right here. I think he was framed, and I also think that nobody believes him. In a way, he kind of reminds me of an Usopp-esque character, or at least that's how he's kind of set up right now. Right? Like maybe he tried to tell people the truth. Like, hey, I didn't kill my dad. I love my dad. And then everybody said, oh, no, you're a liar. You know, everything you say sounds murderous. We're not going to believe you. Kind of like how nobody believed Usopp when he said that pirates were coming. That's how I imagine it right now. But as far as this first part, right, Elbaph having the sun god Nika devil fruit, I don't think that's the case. Because I don't think the timeline would match up, right? Because Shanks stole the devil fruit not 20 years ago. It's like 18, 16 years ago, like somewhere around there, if I recall correctly. And then Loki got chained up 6 years ago. We're not too sure if that's right after he killed his dad. I'm assuming so, right? He killed his dad and then boom, he gets chained up and he's all locked up now. That's what I'm imagining, so I don't think the timeline would match up. But as far as Loki pretending to eat the devil fruit, I need to recheck this, but I believe that Loki has Sea Stone chain on him. I don't know if they confirmed that or not. Let me go back for 1 second. Yeah, it's right here, chapter 1131. Loki says, I'm the pride of Elbaph's immense strength, but these chains are made of sea stone. I can't unleash my power. I'm bound here in Warland to Treasure Tree Adam. So based off that dialogue, I do assume that he has a devil fruit, right? Because sea stone wouldn't drain you if you're a regular person. Sea stone is unbreakable still because it's really powerful, but it wouldn't drain a regular person. So I do think that Loki does have a devil fruit, and he might just have a Elbaph variant of Sun God Nika, whatever that seems like, right? Because devil fruits are born from imagination and belief. We don't really know what kind of sun god that the Elbaphians believe in, right? Some of them believe in the white sun god, and then we have Roto who believes in this weird deer skull sun god. So maybe if there's like a subsection of what giants believe, that could also be like another sun god Nika, just not the one that Luffy has, like slightly different. I even like a fire giant route still. I think that's pretty solid. But yeah, overall, I do like this idea, man, but I do think we need to fix the timeline a little bit, or maybe we just need like the Shanks thing to be like fleshed out a little bit more. So now on to the next theory. What do they got? They say this Shanks clone dash brother is my favorite candidate for the man marked by flames. It makes perfect sense considering the time he's being introduced and why no pirate has ever been able to get the 4th poneglyph. And also why Shanks sounded so confident when he said, let's go get the One Piece, aka let's go fight my brother. So I do agree with this. I haven't had like a good candidate for man marked by flames. I think Tom was like my second pick, but now that we met Shanks or Stabs, I do think there's a high chance it's him, because he would fit what Shiryu said, right? He said, oh, the man marked by flames probably works for the world government. Well, here you have it, a guy that works for the world government. And then plus, every time we've seen this guy, which is only 2 times, by the way, Oda does hide the left side of his face, right? In chapter 907, hid the left side of his face. In this chapter, hid the left side of his face. There could be a burn scar there. There could be something going on with that left side that Oda is just hiding. And I do tie this back to Kid in a way, because Kid has had this weird hard-on for Shanks ever since he entered the New World. Kid wanted to make an alliance with Apu and Hawkins, to take down Shanks. Why? Like, what did Shanks do to Kid, right? Because on the opposite end, at least Law and Luffy kind of had a reasoning for going after Kaido. Kaido's a bad guy. He has SAD, he has Smile, it's tied to Doflamingo, and Law hates Doflamingo. But for Kid, it seems like blind hatred. But what if there's a reason why? What if Kid had an inkling or suspicion that Shanks, who's actually Stabs, is the man marked by flames, and that's why he's going after him? As far as the black ship goes, and as far as the whirlpools go, I think that could also make sense. Maybe the Holy Knights all have special ships and they are black, you know, maybe to fit like the whole black robes they have, like maybe they look like Grim Reapers in the night. And then as far as the whirlpools go, we do know that the Gorosei have crazy magical powers and transformations. We see in this chapter that Shanks or Stabs has magic circles. Maybe whirlpools are a part of that power. You know, maybe whatever they transform into, they get that crazy whirlpool effect. I think I'd like that a lot. And plus, people have pointed out that the Holy Knights have 9 members and the red-haired crew has 9 members, so it would be a very even matchup. So now, on to the next comment. They say, we were eating so well before 6 months of break, and the streets are saying that Akainu will pull up to finish what he started in Ohara, bro. I don't think we're that lucky. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think we're that lucky. As much as I would love Akainu, we gotta admit, the Holy Knights could carry this by themselves, right? Oda could get crazy and bring in Akainu, but he could also just stick with these guys. I'm trying to think. Akainu coming back to finish the job, burning the books of Ohara. Akainu could burn the Yggdrasil tree, right? Yeah, he has magma. Magma would easily melt the Yggdrasil tree. Yes, it's Atomwood, but remember guys, Atomwood is destructible. Atomwood can still be destroyed. Big Mom easily tore through it. We had a couple of characters that tried to attack it, and the Straw Hats had to defend the Thousand Sunny. Atomwood is not indestructible, so there is a good chance you could set this on fire. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. Would we want Akainu to burn down the Yggdrasil tree though? That'd be good. I mean, it would set our sights on Akainu. You know, maybe the Holy Knights ask for assistance because Akainu's like their dog, right? Whatever the Celestial Dragons want, Akainu has to follow. So if they say, hey, Akainu, burn it down, brother, he'd have to. Huh, that's not bad. I think it's just like, will Oda mobilize Akainu for this? That's the big question. Like, Akainu's been a desk jockey for the longest time, man. He's trapped behind that damn desk. I don't know. Are we this lucky? Are we this lucky? Next up, they say, I can already see that this Vegapunk clone will be a huge discussion in the community in the coming weeks. But Vegapunk's clone being used as a way for him to travel the world while the original body works on Elbaph is a cool idea from Oda. Just as I thought, Lilith will really try to cure Kuma. But unlike what I see some people say, I don't think that means that Bonney will definitely stay here in Elbaph. Same. You know, we don't know how long it will take for Lilith to resuscitate Kuma and Vegapunk, because she did say that it will take some time before the lab is ready. So in the meanwhile, I think it would be smart if Bonney just joined the Straw Hats, because Kuma, you know, he went on these adventures. He went, you know, and told Bonney about stories of Sun God Nika, and Bonney ate those stories up. Now imagine the flip side. You know, imagine Kuma is now the guy who can't leave the island because he's being worked on, and Bonney goes on these adventures, and she comes back to Kuma and says, hey dad, I traveled with Sun God Nika. Let me tell you about all these places I visited. That'd be a nice switch up, and I would really love that imagery, in my opinion. But yeah, does this mean that Bonney is the 10th Nakama though? I don't know. That's a hard one. That's a hard one. But also, with the Celestial Dragons coming here, right, with the Holy Knights, what if they kidnap Bonney? You know, they kidnapped her mom. Maybe they'll kidnap Bonney now that they realize that she can alter timelines and now that she can turn into Sun God Nika, right? Like, because the Gorosei knows what Bonnie's capable of, so maybe they're coming here for Bonney. Yeah, and then we have to go rescue Bonney? I don't know how I feel about that. And plus, we don't know Bonnie's dad, yeah? Bonnie's dad is a Celestial Dragon. Could be Stabs, or it could be somebody else within the Holy Land, and they're like, hey, Stabs, lady in bandages, go bring my daughter back. I heard she's valuable. You know, I heard she has a crazy devil fruit nowadays. Get her over here. Maybe that's it. All right, next we have, what if the Holy Knights are the ones responsible for the King of Elbaph's death, and Loki happened to show up and was blamed, like the wrong place, wrong time situation? And what if the world government had the King of Elbaph assassinated for not opening their borders to the world government's reach and influence, and used Loki as a fall guy for bigger schemes? So I do agree with this. I don't think it's a coincidence that King Harold was a kind king. King Harold wanted Elbaph giants to evolve and learn and trade with other nations. If anything, it would almost be the opposite of what you're suggesting in a way, because King Harold wanted trade with other nations. He wanted to open those borders, and then he was killed. I think that's why. I think the world government doesn't like the idea of giants being reintegrated with the world. So yeah, I think they did assassinate him. And with the Holy Knights being able to teleport into the middle of the throne room and teleport out, yeah, I do think that Stabs might have done something. And plus, you know, going back to the throne, it had a cut mark. The Shanks, Stabs, he has a sword, right? Like I said, Loki doesn't make sense. Like the murder weapon does not match the culprit. So yeah, I think Stabs played a role in this. And it kind of reminds me of the other plot lines, like Dressrosa, for example, with Doflamingo. Doflamingo manipulated King Riku, and then later, you know, took him down and called him an evil king. And then we had Fishman Island, where Otohime wanted to live peacefully with humans, and then Hody Jones came in, killed Otohime, and then blamed a human. We have seen multiple times that Oda likes making kings look bad, right? Because of a grand conspiracy. Elbaph is another one. Crocodile framed King Cobra as a dance powder obsessed maniac, but really it was just Crocodile. So yeah, I think this is set in stone, in my opinion. Like, there's no way Loki killed his dad. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. So now let's go down to the next one. They say Saturn rolling in his grave, knowing that not only Stella is gonna come back to life, but potentially Kuma as well. I better be coming back to life via cloning shenanigans. Otherwise, all my nastiness meant nothing. Bro, Saturn's crazy. Yeah, when you really think about it, Saturn, did he kill anybody? Did Saturn win anything on Egghead Island? I mean, no, they don't even have punk records. They have the Mother Flame. Yeah, they got the Mother Flame. They got the Seraphim, but that was kind of like a given, right? They caught no bodies, man. The Vegapunks are all alive. Kuma is alive. The Straw Hats all made it out, right? Like, yeah, and then Punk Records just flew away. Like, dude, Saturn, what a bad rap sheet, man. Like, oh God. Maybe we do bring Saturn back as like a servant or like a skeleton or something. You know, I don't know how Emu's powers work, but it would be kind of funny to see like a mini Saturn, or maybe Garling as the new scientific minister. Maybe he like has a clone of Saturn. No, actually, no, just get rid of him. We don't need more Saturn. Yeah, we don't need more Saturn. Never mind. Imagine if the Holy Knights killed King Harold, and in an effort to keep the special devil fruit safe, Loki ate his father's heart and is caught red-handed in the act. So King Harold died, and Loki, to keep the devil fruit safe from the Holy Knights, eats King Harold. So this is based off of a theory. I've heard of this one actually. That Loki committed the same act as Big Mom, where Big Mom ate, you know, Mother Carmel and got the devil fruit powers. Maybe Loki did the same thing. I didn't get that impression. So when we heard about Loki initially, they said, oh, Loki killed his father and took the devil fruit. We don't really know the semantics of that. I kind of saw it as, oh, the dad was protecting the devil fruit, Loki killed him, and then he took the devil fruit, ate it. But I have seen this theory where like Loki kills his dad and just eats his dad. That would be insane to think about. But knowing how kind-hearted Loki is, I don't know if he'd be able to do it. It's an interesting theory. I mean, like I said, like we don't really have a way to distinguish one way or another if this is the case. So yeah, I'll keep this in the back pocket. I'll keep it in the back pocket. These Holy Knights are going to beat Hardin and the Giants while they're cooking the moose. Hardin is playing the role of character who gives Luffy food and then gets destroyed by the major villain of the arc. Hardin losing. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, Hardin won in Dressrosa. He lost to Luffy, but he did beat Mach Vice, so he looked pretty good. So I think it's about time for another L. I mean, it depends on the Holy Knights, right? It depends if the Holy Knights want their presence known. Because I think they could have easily spawned in the middle of the feast, right? They could have spawned in front of a Hardin and Dory and Brogy and all them, but no, like they spawned in the castle, and they spawned in the castle unbeknownst to anybody, right? We saw the order of the panels. We saw the castle, we saw the village, we saw the lightning, we saw Dory, Brogy, and all them cheersing, and then we got Shanks and the girl. Like, the Giants didn't notice these guys. So maybe they just come in for an assassination, or maybe they come in for something else. But I don't know. It feels like they're in incognito mode, you know what I mean? All right, so now on to the next one. What do they say? If the Holy Knights can magically teleport, what's stopping Shanks from doing that as well? He's supposedly a Celestial Dragon too. Maybe that's how he and his crew got to Marineford that quickly. Yeah, I mean, that was a question somebody posed up to Oda, right? Saying, hey, how does Shanks get from the New World fighting Kaido all the way to Marineford in a singular day? That could be it, but it really does feel like these magical powers are tied to Emu, right? Like Saturn, for example, right? Emu literally just said, oh, Saturn, you're dead, you're done. And then Saturn, like, we saw the soul being sucked out of him. It felt like those were Emu's powers at play, and Saturn just simply borrowed them. But of course, we don't really have any real idea as to how this works. Like, I don't think every celestial dragon has magic powers like this, because that would mean that Charlos, for example, has magical powers, and I don't think Charlos has anything. So I don't think just because they're a celestial dragon, they can teleport, right? Maybe it's just special celestial dragons, like Holy Knights and Gorsei only. That's kind of what I'm imagining right now. All right, going down one more time, they say, I really think Oda can't help but give a happy ending to the father figure character with daughters. Kuma, Pound, Kyros, you're good, my men. Ginny, Otohime, Scarlet, Bellamere, you stay dead. Yeah, I wonder if this is kind of breaking the fourth wall. You know, Oda has 2 daughters in real life. So yeah, I don't think he can help giving the father-daughters a happy ending. But it's like you said, wait, what about the moms, right? Like, what does this say about Oda's wife? What's going on here? So now, next comment, they say, Loki starting to show his soft side, like back in the day with Lola. I'm really excited to explore his character. Oh yeah, I almost forgot about Lola. Dude, Lola's huge, right? Like, Lola's another example of Loki being a good guy. Like, we still have that goofy image where he's silhouetted and he's bending over giving Lola a small flower. Nah, dude, Loki's good. Loki's good. He's being framed. Yo, free Loki, free Loki. Come on, Luffy, hurry up, hurry up. Who has the keys, by the way? We haven't seen a guardsman yet. I wonder if the keys are in the castle. Yeah, that makes sense, right? The keys are in the castle, or maybe there's a special giant that has the keys and he's like the jailer. I don't know. Like, it's also weird thinking about Luffy sneaking around Elbaph during the feast looking for Loki's keys. I think that's also kind of funny. But yeah, I feel like we need to free Loki sooner rather than later. Because imagine if the Holy Knights are here for Loki. Like, they could realistically go down and just cut his head off. He can't do anything about it. So yeah, Luffy, please. Please, Luffy, Godspeed, man. Godspeed. Going down to the last comment, they say, I think so too. That would explain why Loki was framed and the world government needed a scapegoat. It'd be ironic if the reason Shanks became a Yonko was because Loki hated Banks instead of Shanks. So the world government used Shanks to keep Banks as a hidden card. Yeah, I could see that, right? Like, I feel like when you have 2 characters that are identical, their feats will get mixed up with one another. I don't exactly know if that's the case here though, right? Because Loki, you know, I'm kind of going back and forth on it. I think Loki does know the real Shanks and the fake Shanks, but yeah, I see what you mean. I think there might be other instances we learn of in the future where characters are like, oh, you know, I hate that red-haired guy. And they're looking at Shanks, but in reality, they're talking about Stabs. And I think that might be the case for Kid specifically. So for Kid hates Shanks. We don't know why. He was just always going after him. What if it's because Stabs did something bad and Kid witnessed it, and that's why Kid just hates him, right? Because one thing I thought was really odd, and of course it was a hot topic of slander at the time, but we learned that Kid lost to the red-haired pirates without ever meeting Shanks, all right? When we first saw the matchup again, they're like, like, you know, last time he was over here, he didn't even get to see our boss. And it's like, wait a minute. Yeah, it's slanderous, but what if the reason why Oda made it to where Kid never saw Shanks is because if he did, he would put together that Shanks and Stabs aren't the same person. A little bit of a conspiratorial thing, but that is what I think. But yeah, with that being said though, guys, thank you so much for being here. I really freaking appreciate all the comments. Sorry we couldn't read more. You know, I try to cap these videos off at like around 30 minutes, so hopefully you guys enjoyed your time here. Thank you for the conversation, and I will catch you guys in the next spoiler video. Hopefully, there's one more week of spoilers before the New Year's comes. But if not, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year's. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out, brother.